I'm going to type this out for y'all, but so we're going to do solving equations with distributive property practice. On your page, it will probably be typed out if I remember. Number 1, we have 5 and we have parentheses, negative 2 plus 3x equals 5. So I distribute this 5 to the negative 2. I also distribute it to the plus 3x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 5 times plus 3x is plus 15x equals 5. As you can see, this is a simple two-step equation. I get rid of the constant first by doing the opposite. Opposite of negative 10 is positive 10. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These cancel out. I'm left with 15x on the left side. On the right side, I got 5 plus 10. That's 15. Name it again, get that letter by itself. So, 15 is being multiplied by x. I gotta divide by 15. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These 15s cancel out. I'm left with an x on the left side. On the right side, 15 divided by 15 is 1. Number 2, we gotta distribute this negative 3 to the 2x and the minus 4. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Remember, you could type this in your calculator, okay? Negative 3, you can type negative 3 times 2 in your calculator is negative 6. Just don't forget to put the x. Negative 6x. Negative 3 times minus 4 is a positive 12, or plus 12 equals 24. Again, after I've distributed for this problem, it becomes a simple old two-step equation. I gotta get rid of the constant by doing the opposite. The opposite of plus 12 is minus 12. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These 12s, they cancel out, leaving just the negative 6x. On this side, 24 minus 12 is 12, okay? Name of the game, get the letter by itself by doing the opposite, okay? The opposite of multiplication. Remember, when there's no sign, it's automatically multiplication. Opposite of that is division. So I will divide by negative 6. What I do on one side, I do to the other. These negative 6's cancel out. Left with just the x on that side. 12 divided by negative 6, if you put in your calculator, is a negative 2. So x equals negative 2. I'm talking like this because I just made like 4 videos in a row. Alright. Let's distribute this 2 to the x. Let's distribute it also to the 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is plus 4. On this side, it still equals 0. Name of the game, get the letter by itself. I know this looks a little awkward, but name of the game is always the same. Get that letter by itself. So I gotta make that minus 4 disappear. Get rid of the constants first. Remember, we're trying to get it by itself, so we're trying to make things disappear. What I do to one side, I do to the other. On the left side, the 4's cancel out, leaving just a 2x. On the right side, 0 minus 4 equals negative 4. You could type that in your calculator, or you could also just notice the fact that, alright, I'm at 0, right? And then I'm going to take away 4. I'm going to take away 4. I'm going to take away 4. So if I'm at 0 and I take away 4, so I'm at negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So 2x equals negative 4. Name of the game, get that letter by itself. Opposite of 2 times x is dividing by 2. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These 2's cancel out, leaving me with just an x on that side. On the right side, negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. X equals negative 2 is your final answer. Number 4, let's distribute this negative 3 to the 2. Distribute the negative 3 to the x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Negative 3 times x is, oopsies. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x, or minus 3x. On this side, the 3 is still there. Let's name the game. Let's get that letter by itself. This is a two-step equation. 5 First, get rid of the constant. Constant is -6. The opposite of -6 is +6. So I'm going to add 6. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These 6's cancel out, leaving me with just a -3x. On this side, 3 plus 6 equals 9. So I have -3x equals 9. Name the game, get that letter by itself. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by -3. Okay. On the left side, the -3's cancel out. I'm going to rewrite it over here, leaving me with just the x. On the right side, 9 divided by -3 is, if you put it in your calculator, -3. All right, number 5. It looks a little messy, but just take it one step at a time. The first thing you do is you distribute. And just looking at the problem, I know I'm going to have to combine terms afterwards. So I'm going to distribute. After I do that, I'm going to combine like terms. It's probably going to look like a 2-step equation after that. And then, so I'm going to, name it again, get the letter by itself. What I do first is I'll eliminate the constants, and then I'll take away that coefficient. So let's carry out that game plan. So first, distribute 4 to the -x and 4 to the 2. 4 times -x is -4x. 4 times +2 is +8. Nothing happened to that +3 yet. Nothing happened to that +2x yet because it was not in the parentheses. Now I can combine like terms. Let's combine this -4x. Remember, you always look at the sign in front of the term. I'm not going to look at the sign behind it. I'm going to look at the sign in front of it. I get combine that with the 2x. -4x plus 2x is -2x. I can combine this 8 and this 3 because they're like terms. 8 plus 3 is 11. Positive 11. And on the right side, I still got that equals 13. Now it's a 2-step equation, like we said. So get rid of the constant by doing the opposite. Opposite of +11 is -11. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These 11's cancel out, leaving a -2x on this side, and over here 13 minus 11 is 2. Name it again, get that letter by itself by doing the opposite. Opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide both sides by -2. These -2 cancel out, leaving me with just an x on the left side. 2 divided by -2, if you put it in your calculator, is -1. Okay. So the next problem we have is -x minus 1 minus 3 parentheses -3x plus 4 equals 11. So first we distribute. Remember always to look at the sign in front of a number, okay? So make sure you don't just distribute the 3, but you distribute the -3 or the -3, okay? So -3 is going to distribute to the -3x, and it's also going to distribute to the +4. So -3 times -3x is a +9x, and -3 times a +4 is going to be -12. I'm going to still have this -1 and this -x here because it wasn't in the parentheses, so I didn't distribute to it, okay? And of course, on the right side, I still have that equals 11. Now I'm ready to combine like terms. So I'm going to combine this -x with this 9x. Remember, when there's no coefficient in front, there's automatically an invisible 1. So a -1x plus 9x is +8x. And then we can combine these constants, -1 and -12. So -1 and -12 is going to be a -13. -1 minus 12 is -13. And on this side, I still got the 11. Now it's a simple 2-step equation. Get the letter, or the variable, I should say, by itself. First, let's eliminate this constant by doing the opposite. Opposite of -13 is +13. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These 13's cancel out, leaving just the 8x, okay? On this side, 11 plus 13 is 24. Name of the game, get that letter by itself. Dang it, why I say a letter? Name of the game is get the variable by itself. And so I gotta make that 8 disappear by doing the opposite. They're multiplying, so the opposite would be division. Remember this little fraction bar, that means divide, okay? So I'm gonna divide by 8. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm gonna divide this side by 8 as well. These 8's cancel out, leaving just an x. On the right side, 24 divided by 8. If you remember your multiplication facts, or division facts, I guess I should say, 24 divided by 8 would be 3. x equals 3. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Solving equations with distributive property practice. I hope y'all understood that. Let me know. Give me feedback as far as what you are confused about or what you think is easy, and if you feel like you understand it, let me know too, because that makes me happy.